All right, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today. So my name is Patrick Del Rosario. I'm the program coordinator for the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. Today, we are going to be talking about a lot of the different leadership opportunities within social sciences. So being part of the SARC, as we would call the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center, we have a lot of different connections among the different types of things that are happening within social sciences. So today, what I wanted to really do is kind of just break down a lot of the specific things that you may or may not have missed by being part of social sciences. And there's quite a bit of things that we can talk about today that can kind of bolster your resume or kind of improve on your leadership skills or anything like that. So that's essentially what we're going to talk about moving forward. So just to kind of go over some of the Zoom functions for those of you who are entering in right now, you do have the chat function that's available to you and the Q&A function. So if there are any questions that come up or come during the presentation, I'll go ahead and address them at the end in whatever order that they kind of come into. So just to let you know, and also if for some reason you need to have me repeat anything, just feel free to throw it in the chat and then I'll repeat it because, internet connection can kind of harper these sessions every once in a while. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about all the different leadership opportunities and just things that are going to be available to you as being part of the social sciences. So what exactly is available? So there's a lot, really. And I'm going to be listing all of these things down and we're going to kind of break them down even more specifically, but really at the core, it's going to be affiliate clubs and organizations, the certificate programs that are available where you're going to get some kind of certification after you complete a certain level of requirements, research and honors programs, scholarships that are going to be available to you, and leadership opportunities. The one thing that I really want you to take away from all of this is that we're going to be talking specifically within the School of Social Sciences. So it's not going to be something that's widely broadcasted to anybody else within the university. It's only going to be between all of you. So this is going to be very specific to something that is going to be related to your major or just related along the career trajectory that you have that is going to be for you. So as we're going through this entire presentation, I want you to think about what is your end goal, because a lot of these things are going to be based on helping you find your academic potential or trying to find a sense of community, particularly in the idea that we're coming back to the university. So as you're coming back into an in-person environment, like how do I know like the people I can reach out to build that sense of community? The other thing also to think about when you're looking at these different leadership opportunities is how can you find areas of your resume to improve? So if you need more volunteer experience or you need more professional experience or whatever it may be, these are some of the things that you can actually put on your resume to kind of help bolster that and show you to have a stronger professional profile. Okay, so talking about the first things here, we're going to look at affiliate clubs and organizations. Now, the general search that some of you may be looking at is the Campus Orgs website. So that's campusgroups.uci.edu. And if you were to look at it here, this is essentially where it's going to be. Campus Groups has its own specific website that you're going to be using. You know what? Let me actually see if there's something more specific I can show you, because I want to show you something very specific. Searching by different types and organizations. Okay, so this is where you would find any of the organizations that you would want to be coming a part of. I listed here a lot of the very specific social science affiliated programs. So, for example, the Latino Student Psychological Association, LSPA, is going to be one of those very specific programs that are going to be housed within the social sciences. And a lot of the ones that are listed here are ones that are either looked over by staff within the School of Social Sciences, or they're going to be related to things that are part of your major. And really just trying to find any of these different organizations within Campus Groups is simply just trying to find something based on the category or just something based on, whatever it might be that you're looking for related to your career interests or anything like that. When you're looking for the search, you might want to base it on your academics or your major, right? So sometimes the majors might have something specific. Like I know it's not listed here, but I believe that anthropology actually has something here. You can see that I also searched it up just to make sure for the example's sake, right? But there is an anthropology club at UCI, which is one of our different social science majors. So you might want to look at it based on major or academics. You might want to look at it based on career trajectory. As you can see that there is a pre-law society or moot court or mock trial, and possibly hobbies and interests. Like there's a lot of different ones for esports or collectible card games or anything. But you also might want to look at it based on community. So the thing is that how do you actually make sure that you're getting the leadership opportunity that you're looking at for clubs and organizations? Well, typically for those of you who aren't part of organizations, you should know that they're broken down into different roles and responsibilities. So they're typically going to have some kind of executive board. For me, what I would say is that you should try to get into a leadership position if you're going to be a part of any of these clubs or organizations, right? So you're either going to be a president, a co-president, a treasurer, outreach director, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of different times where that opportunity may come around. So if you're part of an organization, to really make sure that it has a bigger impact on your resume, you want to see if there's any opportunity for you to be able to maybe do a presentation or run some kind of training during the times that they're actually running the organizations. And I'm pretty sure that most organizations are electing their executive board at the end of spring quarter when they're starting to rotate the people in leadership. So for those of you who are part of an organization already, I would hope that you're thinking about actually wanting to do a leadership position while you're in this campus org. But if you're also not part of it yet, think about different ways that you can actually get involved into the leadership group and be part of that executive board as you go through it for the academic year. So that's something that you kind of want to look at in regards to the organizations. And again, these are just some of the specific ones that are related to social sciences. Okay. The next thing is certificate programs. So for the certificate programs, we basically have two different kinds of programs that are going to lead to certification. Okay. So first is like a course completion requirement. And a lot of the different areas within social sciences are going to have something like this. And I'll give you some examples here. The cultural competency certificate is going to be requiring you to take around 4 classes in order for you to receive that certificate. The research enrichment certificate is one that's going to require you to like take a couple courses, but also have some kind of academic research behind your back, working with a faculty mentor or something like that. So there's going to be different types of levels that you're going to be needing to fulfill for course requirements in order to get those certifications. And then the other one is a program related certification where you're actually going to be running through some kind of training program that could either be on a quarterly or an annual basis. And some of the ones that I wanted to highlight, which comes out of the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center, would be the Social Science Public Speaking Program and the Leadership Consortium. And what we mean by program related is that you're going to be taking like a series of different sessions in order to get that completion. So just to give you an example of what that looks like, SARC has conveniently put all of this information onto our website so that you can easily see it kind of collected together. So when you're looking through it, I can just go over through one of the different applications for the certification here. When you click on it, all it's going to ask you is for information about yourself as a student, what kind of certificate you're going to be in. And then let me just quickly run through this just so you can get an idea about how the applications work. Site, and let's just put 3.6. And I have to add a file. Okay, let me use a different example then, if that's the case. Cultural competency. All right, so when you click on this application, you're going to be able to see that it's just going to be basic information about yourself, and then it's going to go through a different series of different courses that you need to complete. So I believe that all of these certificates that are listed here, they're going to be having their own specific requirements ranging between like 3 to 5 different classes. So if you have those classes completed, you are going to be able to qualify for that certificate. Now, do keep in mind that when you're applying to these certificates, that you should have those classes already completed before you apply, right? So for anybody who is overseeing the completion of these certificates, if you don't have the classes actually uploaded to your transcript and they see that you're having completed it or you're completing it in a future quarter, they might send it back to you and tell you like, hey, like you need to complete this, or please submit an application once the courses are actually completed on your transcript and it shows. Like I've had some students submit a research certificate for classes that they're completing in fall of 2021, but it's too early. You want to make sure that you complete it once it's already, you want to submit it once all the courses are actually completed. Okay, and then to kind of go back on the program related sessions, certificates, you'll see that here it's going to be based on fall 2021. There's 7 different sessions that you need to participate in. And from here, you'll be able to go through a pretty robust training program that's going to walk you through a particular subject matter. So for this one, it's going to be entirely based on public speaking. And then for our other one that we have here, it's the Leadership Consortium, which teaches you theory about different leadership topics and things like that. So to summarize, there are a couple easy ways for you to get certifications in different majors based on whatever certificate is available to them. And then you'll also be able to participate in these different training programs where you're also going to be able to get some kind of certification as well. Okay. The next thing that you want to look into is research and honors programs. Now, the idea of getting into research is one of those things that can take a little bit more time. So I'm only going to introduce the concept of what a research program is for now, because it's something that we should really talk about a little bit more in depth on it at a separate time. But really the reason why research is important is because UCI is a research university. And typically what that means is that many of the faculty that work here at UCI are conducting some form of research, some kind of academic study on their particular subject matter. So we have labs that are based on human memory, or we have labs based on interactions of people in particular communities, or the way that a certain ethnic group responds to microaggressions or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways that people are studying human behavior or society or politics within the School of Social Sciences. And being a UCI student, it gives you the opportunity to be able to participate in those research projects by way of conducting an individual research project where you're going to be coming up with the ideas for yourself and presenting it to a mentor, or you might potentially join a research lab. So there are, like I mentioned before, there are faculty who are working on research projects. So if you wanted to take a small part of research and be able to participate in that as well, you might be able to join them. So let me go ahead and give you an example of what some of that might look like, because some research labs actually allow for applications. So if we're going to be looking here, this is the Cognitive Science Research Lab website. So a lot of this information is just on available for you to look at it online. If you were to click on any of these things, they would show you the link to where their website is. And some of them are going to actually have formal applications where you'll have to turn in a resume and say like, hey, like I'm interested in doing research on this particular subject matter. Do you have any research positions that are going to be available for me to join? The important reason as to why you want to join research, it's actually twofold. One of which is for those of you students who are going into graduate school or thinking about going into graduate school, you may need letters of recommendation to do so. And typically what those letters of recommendations are for is making sure that the student who's applying to graduate school has the ability to do graduate level work. So in this case, by doing a research project with a faculty, by either joining their research lab or doing an individual research project, would kind of show that you have the capability of doing a long-term project that can span between 15 to 20 pages of work while working underneath the guidance of a faculty mentor. So you may want to be a part of a research lab just to ensure that you build that relationship with a faculty. The other reason why you'd want to do research or to kind of look into research is because each of the different departments within social sciences also has an honors program, which is essentially like an extended research project that you're going to be working with a faculty, but it's going to be a year-long commitment for you. So if you look at the undergraduate academics page, you'll notice here on the side, there's a list of different honors programs that are going to be based on each of the different majors. So if you click on any of these different majors, it's going to bring you to a link of information about the specific honors programs that are going to be provided for each of the different departments. So it'll also give you when they're actually going to be recruiting people to be joining part of this program. And typically they're going to be towards the end of spring, beginning of summer when they're actually looking for people to participate. And I do know for sure that political science and sociology, they are looking specifically for students to apply, not social sciences, sociology. They're specifically looking for people to apply to their honors program as well. So I know that they're actively looking. So if you happen to be a junior or senior standing, this is something that you might want to actually participate in to kind of bolster your academic portfolio. Now, keep in mind that each of the different honors programs here are going to have various different requirements. I think I saw between anthropology and even political science that it's a 3.3 GPA, right? This one has a cumulative GPA of 3.3, and this one has a cumulative GPA of a 3.5, or an overall of 3.2. So for each of the specific honors programs, you have to kind of look into it based on your major, and then just kind of see like, do you have the qualifications for it specific? They are going to be a little bit different overall, but it's something that you might want to pay attention to if you're trying to get into the honors programs. So when you're thinking about doing research, what I would actually suggest that you do is take an introductory research methods class, because it's going to actually give you an idea about how to participate in research, what is the way of actually building a research paper, collecting data and analyzing data and what it may be. And then you can try to interact with a faculty member to actually, conduct some research with them as well. And the one thing about research and just the honors program in general is think about questions that you want answered in the field. So if you're always curious about the way that people interact to certain policies that the government gives away or like kind of puts into effect, that might be something that you want to look into. And maybe there's a faculty out there who's interested in looking at the same thing. So you would want to pair up with that. And research is a tool for you to get questions answered about society or human nature that you always wanted to get answered. And that's something that you would be able to do as part of a research project. Okay. The other thing that is important for doing research is the scholarships. Okay. So these scholarships that I'm going to be talking about is going to be separate from what the financial aid office is going to be offering. And I'll go ahead and show you what this might look like here. Undergraduate programs, scholarships. Okay. So this is going to be the list of different scholarships that are offered specifically to social science students. So you'll notice that if you were to click on any of this information here about more info, all of this is going to be related to only social science majors. So let me go ahead and break down what each of these different scholarships are going to be based on. You'll have these 3 scholarships at the top, which are going to be based on existing research papers or any type of academic papers that you've already written. So if you've done a research project, I believe one of these is going to be based on an original research idea. So you'll be eligible to actually apply to this scholarship if you already have research that's already conducted. So by doing research, it preps you for the ability to do scholarships. And then from there, you'll be able to get some kind of monetary gain for actually doing the research on its own. These scholarships are going to be what we call merit-based scholarships. So it's a matter of you just submitting the application, and then they check to see if you follow certain criteria, and then you're going to be chosen by a committee based on the criteria of each of these different scholarships. It is a common application, and this one is actually worked on with the Office of Financial Aid. So the Office of Financial Aid and Social Sciences works collectively together on this one with a common application. And once you turn in that one application, the Office of Financial Aid is going to see like your submission and see which scholarships it could potentially apply to. And then, they'll kind of place you to see like, okay, this is a runner-up for this particular scholarship, and then we'll send it over to the committee. So really easy to apply to these ones. Just to kind of break these ones down a little bit further, this one's based on students who are more international studies focused or does a lot of community service. This one's based on community college transfer students, as long as you've already done 2 quarters of UCI, you should be able to apply to the scholarship already from there. It's just kind of making sure that you did well in your first 2 quarters as a UCI student. And then this one's just based on your overall academic achievements as a student. So I would say that in regards to scholarships, these are the ones that are the easiest to apply for because it's just simply a common application that you're going to be considered for. The other type of scholarship that we have is going to be like a research proposal type scholarship. So if you wanted to do research on Black Lives Matter or something that's more based on peace building for communities, or if you're doing your own individual research project and you need additional funds, these ones are all papers that you're going to be needing to write a proposal for. Now, those proposals can have a length of about a page to 2 pages, and you're basically just going to be talking about what you're going to be using the funds for, what is your research project going to be about, and from there, they'll decide if they are able to give you funds based on whatever your proposal says. The unique thing about these particular scholarships, though, is that it's not a standard amount of money that is going to be provided, but it's going to be within a range. So depending on the strength of the proposal that you're putting out there and the information that you're trying to gather, the things that you're trying to research, they will provide you with a certain amount based on however your proposal is written. So for those of you who participated in one of the bigger research opportunities within the university, which is the undergraduate research opportunities program, it's very similar in that way where you're just going to be presenting whatever your research is going to be about. And it allows you to have certain level of funds to make sure that you can accomplish that research. So 3 different scholarship opportunities, and these different things are going to be easier for you to achieve if you have some of the other leadership opportunities that we've already talked about previously. Okay. Just as a reminder for all of you, like there is a website that you can check out the different scholarships for the Office of Financial Aid, which is listed here. I believe that their application period isn't open. It says that it's going to be starting from January 4th through February 28th, but I'm not exactly sure if that's for the previous year or if it's for the upcoming year. But I will say that for overall, most of the scholarships that you're going to be seeing within social sciences and with the overall campus is going to be open sometime in the late fall quarter, December through like February or something like that. So you'll start getting emails about applying to these different scholarships during that time. So if this is just one way for you to kind of be aware, like this is when I should start applying for scholarships, that's essentially what you need to pay attention to. Okay. So the last thing that you can be a part of for social sciences is a lot of the different programs. And these ones are a little bit more robust because they actually have applications and they're like year-long commitments or summer-long commitments that you can be a part of. So we'll talk about these a little bit more in depthly individually one by one. Okay. So the Summer Academic Enrichment Program is a program that runs through the summer. So for those of you who aren't graduating this year, this is going to be an opportunity that's available to you. If you aren't sure about doing an individual research project or doing the honors program, or you're not sure if you want to do some kind of research program with a faculty, this is a place where you would actually want to start, because it's going to walk you through statistics, debate, and basic research and how to actually conduct research in this 5-week intensive summer program. So it's something that you're going to be able to apply to throughout the summer. I think their applications actually open up in spring quarter. So that's when they start doing their call. And then you'll be able to apply for the program. It is a 5-week intensive program. I think when we were in person, they actually housed people in some of the summer housing that's available for students. But I think for the previous year, they actually did everything online. But it is a program that really prepares you for graduate school. So if your intention is doing graduate school, I would suggest that you actually try to look into SAAP for next year, because they actually just finished the SAAP program, or it's on the verge of finishing at this moment. So to give you a timeline, it starts sometime at the end of June and ends in the middle of July. So that's kind of what it's kind of works hand in hand by doing classes during summer session 1. So this is one of the opportunities that's going to be available to you. Another opportunity is the Dean's Ambassadors Council. So the next 2 programs that I'm going to talk about are actually sub-programs that are part of the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. So if you're interested in kind of taking a pulse of how the students within social sciences feel, and you want to build a sense of community, and you kind of want to get an idea of how to build pride within the School of Social Sciences, this is what the Dean's Ambassadors Council is for. They work really closely with our Associate Dean of Undergraduate Students to kind of get an idea about what kinds of programs we can run to make sure that students feel like they're welcomed within the social sciences, or that they have the resources that are going to be available to them. One of the namely things that has been done in the previous years, they run your major orientations on an annual basis. So if you've been to your major orientation, they're the ones who actually set it up with the different departments so that you can learn a little bit more about your major. And within the previous year, they were also the ones who were sending out those quarterly surveys, kind of trying to understand how everybody felt about the remote environment and what their opinions were about coming back to campus. So a lot of the results of that survey was kind of put into the implementation about how we're going to be running a lot of our programs for the upcoming year. And if you want to kind of get that pulse about how students are going to be functioning, or just kind of like interacting with everybody within School of Social Sciences and building that sense of community, that's what the Dean's Ambassadors Set is going to be for. The other program that's a part of the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center is the First Generation First Quarter Challenge. So for those of you who are incoming freshmen or transfer students, you might be getting, well, you should be getting an announcement about this tomorrow, or some of you may have actually been a part of this already if you're not an incoming freshman or transfer students. But this leadership opportunity allows you to be a mentor for incoming freshmen and transfer students who identify as first generation. So the leadership position here is an actual academic mentor. So if you're looking at contributing to the transition of new incoming students into the university, and you want to mentor somebody to be able to be a strong student and to make them feel like they belong in the university, this is definitely a position that you might want to be a part of as well. So you as a mentor would help guide a group of maybe 10 to 15 students through their entire first quarter within the university. And you kind of just be walking them through the process of what is it like to understand the university culture and how do you fit into UCI and whatnot. So this is definitely one of those programs that you might want to be a part of as well. Just to give you an FYI, this program is specifically a paid program. So if you do get accepted as one of the 7 mentors, then you'll have the opportunity to get paid here. As part of our center, the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center also has a position for our students. So if you are interested in professional development, or you like to do the things that I like to do on a student level, like providing students with guidance on how to find opportunities on campus, looking over resumes, helping students apply for graduate school, this is where you would want to be as well. And our internship employs roughly between 10 to 12 students on an annual basis, where we walk you through the process about how to apply to graduate school, how to apply to internships, how to apply to research. And then we give you the tools to be able to teach other students to do the same thing. And this one functions as an internship. So you're going to be getting academic credit throughout the entirety of the academic year. And you'll be basically like for anyone who's really geared towards applying to graduate school, this is definitely one of those opportunities that I think you'd want to be a part of. You get to work on a team with both me and our program director, and we'll just kind of walk you through everything that is SARC. So that's like managing the resource center, doing the marketing, data collection, and doing basically the things that we're doing right now in regards to running workshops and stuff like that. So this is an opportunity that is available to you. I'll talk about applications at the end because they all have very similar application periods. The last thing that you can be a part of that I want to highlight for today is the Peer Academic Advising Program. And this is a universal program that exists throughout the entire university. But as part of the School of Social Sciences, you have your undergraduate student affairs office, but they also have peers who work there, and you have the opportunity to apply there as well. So different from what the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center does, the social science undergraduate student affairs office helps students actually figure out their course schedules and puts them on the path of graduation. So if you're interested in doing counseling for students and making sure that they take the courses that they need in order to graduate, this is something that you would want to be a part of as well. And it's a great opportunity. As a student a long time ago, you won't believe, but I was a student in like 2015. I actually was a peer academic advisor for the School of Social Ecology. And it was a really great experience, taught you a lot of different things about the university that you can learn about, and it's skills that you can take on to a different job as well. And this one's also a paid position, so something that you might want to look into as well. So you'll notice that throughout this entire time, I haven't really been talking about applications for these 4 particular ones, but just a good note for when to actually apply to any of these different opportunities. Most applications are going to be running from the beginning of winter to the beginning of spring. So all throughout January to maybe the late or early April period in the academic year, that's when a lot of the applications are going to be open for these particular programs. And you'll notice that actually goes in line with a lot of the different leadership opportunities that are available across campus as well. So for all of you, just kind of remember, because we're thinking about it a year ahead, you have the opportunity to do more research on these different programs or these different opportunities that are available. And you can decide, okay, do I want to apply to this particular program, and when do I actually want to apply for it and such like that. So these are just some of the available opportunities. And I think for now, that's kind of like a pretty robust description about a lot of the different things that are available. So to kind of summarize everything, just to make sure that I kind of re-jog some of your memory, there's a lot of different specifically associated social science organizations that you can find through the Campus of Involvement and volunteer programs. So there's specific campus orgs that are going to be related to social sciences. There's a lot of different certificate programs that you can apply to, and these certificates can be put on your resume. So if you're looking to get a program that would teach you about diversity, our cultural competency certificate is one that would help you kind of learn about those things and show it on your resume. Research to show that you have specific training on research, or just to summarize the fact that you've done research. So, or public speaking training, like those certifications are things that you can put on your resume. Doing research at the university is one of the more unique things that you can do here. So I would highly suggest that you look into it. And then there's just available scholarships that are here within social sciences specifically that you won't be finding in any other part, and it's only unique to you. And then lastly, there's a lot of these different leadership opportunities that are going to be available to you as well. Okay. So we're at the point where we're doing some questions, and I see that there's a couple questions already here. Let me go ahead and address some of these. Where will this recording be posted? The recording is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and send an email to everybody with all the different links that I've shared here. So that way you can kind of look through it at your own time and your own pace. And then in addition to that, I'll also be posting the YouTube that's going to be connected to this video. What are the benefits to enrolling in a certificate program, and is it mandatory? So I kind of already mentioned what the certificate programs are for. Pretty much it's just to kind of help you with particular training. So if you've always wanted to develop yourself as a public speaking individual, or you want to develop that skill set, it's going to train you through the process of making sure that you have that skill set behind it. And it's not going to be something that's mandatory. If you do participate in the particular programs that it's going to be associated with, so the public speaking program requires you to attend 7 different sessions. You do have to attend all 7 of those sessions, and you'll have maybe like 1 excused absence that you can have for that. But yes, you do need to attend all the different sessions if you decide to commit to it and enroll for it. But in no way is it mandatory for you to do any of these certificate programs. What are some of the benefits of having these certifications? So to go even further with like how it actually represents in a resume, if you go into a resume and you have a specific section that's for certifications, it's an indicator to the person who's actually looking over your resume. Like, okay, they have this base set of foundational skills and they don't even need to really ask you about it. So let's say, for example, in a food service working position, you have that food service working certificate. They already know that you have the basic fundamental training of health and safety, right? So in the same way, if you're applying to a job that's like a research position, like a research assistant, and they see that you have a research certificate, they understand that you have foundational knowledge about how to conduct a research project, and the training that you're going to be receiving from there isn't necessarily going to be a lot on their part. Or similarly, if you have like leadership training or public speaking training, it kind of solidifies the idea that you have some kind of formal training with those particular skills. So if you're just putting it as your administrative skills at the bottom, where he's like, oh, I'm good at public speaking, at least the certificate would kind of solidify the idea that, yes, there is some formal training behind it. And it's not something that you're just doing on I'm just saying that I'm good at it. It's kind of like, it kind of functions similarly to how the endorsements work on LinkedIn. Will those be open to undocumented students too? Yes, a lot of these programs are going to be opened. You have to, I will say that for the ones that are paid positions, you're going to have to talk specifically with the supervisors of those programs. But in regards to any of the certifications or scholarships, scholarships, you probably have to talk to financial aid as well. But for certifications, you don't need to worry about anything like that. For the internships, you probably won't need to be worrying anything about that. But if you are going to be getting paid or you're going to be getting some funds, I think you need to talk to the specific offices just to make sure that everything's going to be okay there. Will you be able to email this PowerPoint or links to us after the session? Yes, absolutely. So you'll get a breakdown of all the different links that I showed you, and you'll also get this PowerPoint in addition to the YouTube links, as I mentioned before. Yes, there is going to be a recording for this one, yeah. Will this part? Yep, it will be available to you online. Are there any resources that list specifics to certain majors within social sciences, international studies? Yeah, so specifically, if you want to get any specific information about each of the different departments, you want to look at the, the different major websites. So let's look at economics, for example. If you just type in economics UCI, you'll be able to see that each of them has their own page, and you'll be able to learn a little bit more about the specific major here. One of the more common things that people look at is for here undergraduate. So you'll kind of get an idea about the major overview or like the different courses that are available. For the purposes of this workshop, I would actually suggest that you look at the different research centers that are available here, or any of the different research opportunities that might be available for the specific major. And if you're looking at specific faculty that you might want to connect with, and you want to look at maybe their curriculum vitae or resumes, you might want to look here at the core faculty so you can get an idea of the faculty that you might be working with or that you might be taking classes with. Or if there's a professor that you wanted to do research with because you took a class with them, but you don't remember them, then this is a good place for you to be able to find their particular website or their CV or their email so that you can contact them specifically. So each department is going to have a website specifically to them as well. Do some of these paid internships work well with work study? Yes, they do. Work study is going to be helping funding some of those positions. You just have to make sure that when you're applying to any of these different positions that you inform the supervisor that you have work study, and then they'll kind of work with you to make sure that you get paid properly and the funds get transferred where they're supposed to be transferred. Okay. Let's see here. Hello. Okay, cool. Set comes out for that tomorrow. Okay, so I'm guessing that this is probably for the first generation first quarter challenge. So yes, there's going to be an official announcement that's going out for first generation first quarter challenge, but that's specifically for mentees in the program. The leadership opportunity for the first gen program is going to be available in spring quarter. So we typically get students for mentors during that time period. So if you want to become a mentor for the program, it's going to be in spring. But if you are an incoming first year transfer student, then yes, there's going to be applications to join that first gen program tomorrow. Cool. I think there's most of the questions that I have. So are there any other additional questions before I close out for today? Okay. So if you do have any additional questions, or if you want to talk a little bit more about that research piece that I described earlier, because again, it's a little bit more robust and there's a much longer process to get involved in research, you can feel free to actually make an appointment with us. the SARC either with myself or our program director, and you can learn about the entire research process as a whole. And we can walk you through like, how do you find a research project, or how do you define your own personal research project? And then how do you find a faculty mentor for it? You can visit our website, and this is the website that I've been showing you all for here. So you can see that it's here, and then everywhere on our website, it gives you the opportunity to schedule an appointment with us. But in the email that people are asking about for information, I'll make sure that it's going to be easily visible for you. So if you wanted to make an appointment with us, you can. We are going to be doing virtual appointments from 9 to 5 on a weekly basis. So, if we have an available spot and you want to come meet with us, please feel free to do so, and we'd be happy to talk with you on a one-to-one basis. And please feel free to also look at our Instagram page for any regular updates that are going to be happening throughout the academic quarter. So if there are no other further questions, thank you so much for joining me today. And also thank you so much for all of your different questions. And hopefully this was able to help you out and kind of give a good breakdown about all of the different opportunities that are available here, because there's a lot. And you'll be seeing a lot of that in the emails to come. So I will see you all around, and have a good rest of your day, everyone.